It is an honor and a privilege to recognize that it is a new day in Oklahoma and for the nation in our battle against addiction and the opioid epidemic. We have just this morning had we, the state of Oklahoma, had a settlement and a consent decree approved by the district judge down in Cleveland County with regard to our cause of action against one of the defendants in the opioid litigation, Purdue Pharma. Through this historic agreement, in which the state will enjoy a $270 million settlement, a nearly $200 million endowment for the OSU Center for Health Sciences Center for Wellness and Recovery will occur. This begins a new chapter for those struggling with addiction. I will outline the details of that settlement here in just a moment. First, President Hargis and Dr. Schrum, thank you all for both being here today and for your commitment to taking our fight to the next level. Utilizing the successful model that you have fostered here at the Center for Wellness and Recovery and expanding it through this endowment will truly create a national center for addiction treatment and research. It is going to save countless lives, and it's going to keep families together. And it's going to be the tip of the spear in terms of leading the nation out of the addiction epidemic that has claimed just this past year 70,000 lives. The fact remains, the addiction crisis facing our state and nation is a clear and present danger, but we are doing something about it today. Another data point, an average of 150 people in this country die every day from an opioid overdose. In 2018, life expectancy for Americans dropped again, in large part because of the continuing rising numbers of drug overdoses. According to the data from the Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs, since 2004, more than 10,000 Oklahomans have died from an overdose. And in 2018, nearly 50% of all overdose deaths in the state were attributed to pharmaceutical drugs. Out of the more than 3,000 Oklahomans admitted to the hospital in our state for a non-fatal overdose this past year, 80% involved a prescription opioid. Quite simply, we are out of time with regard to the responsibility we have to deal with this crisis. But the money from this settlement will provide significant and substantial funding to the Center for Wellness and Recovery here, allowing us to focus our attention on what should be our highest priority, Americans struggling with addiction. I want to say that the OSU Center for Wellness and Recovery in these negotiations was selected because its footprint in this space is well established. It is the gold standard and is already a national leader in studying and treating addiction and finding innovative ways to cure it. And this money will allow the center to expand its mission to a national level to combat the crisis. And I know I speak for most everybody in this room in saying that I have full faith and confidence in Dr. Schrum and her talented team to lead this initiative. So I'll let Dr. Schrum talk more about the center in a little bit, but I want to say that the OSU Center for Wellness and Recovery is the nation's leading comprehensive treatment and research center for treating pain and addiction. It promotes collaborative and interdisciplinary approaches to the study of treatment and the public's understanding of pain, substance use, and abuse. Here at OSU, they treat addiction as a brain disease. When I was here for the launch of the Center for Wellness and Recovery back in 2017, something Dr. Schrum said has stuck with me ever since. It was her vision to start this program, and she started it with no new funds, with existing funds here at the OSU Center for Health Sciences, because she was dedicated to finding a better path forward for Oklahomans who are in need of addiction treatment. She did it because she knew it was important, it was essential to better understand addiction psychology, the role of the brain in perceiving and managing pain, and finding alternative modalities for treating those suffering with chronic pain. I continue to applaud you and the efforts of your team, Dr. Schrum. So the details of the settlement are as follows. The endowment will establish a foundation that will receive an initial $102.5 million that will go specifically to the OSU Center for Health Sciences Center for Wellness and Recovery. And beginning in January 1 of next year, the foundation will receive an annual $15 million payment over a 5-year period. And during that same 5-year time frame, it will receive ongoing contributions of addiction treatment medicine, both for rescue and recovery, and that has a market value of $20 million. So $4 million in rescue and treatment drugs over a 5-year period. Another $12.5 million from the settlement has been set aside to providing funds that will directly abate and address the opioid epidemic's effects in Oklahoma's towns, cities, and counties. Purdue will also make a $60 million payment to offset all of the state's litigation costs to this point. I would like to now call upon OSU University President Burns Hargis, followed by the President of the OSU Center for Health Sciences, Dr. Casey Schrum, to discuss the Center for Wellness and Recovery and its mission. Dr. Hargis.
Thank you, General Hunter, as well as the legal team that has fashioned this settlement that will have such a transformative effect on Oklahoma and on those who suffer from opioid addiction. The Center for Wellness and Recovery is the premier institution of research for education and treatment for addiction in the United States. It's already received an $11 million grant from the federal government for this purpose. Our world-class team will use the funds from this settlement for groundbreaking research which will result in discoveries for prevention and treatment of opioid addiction, and one day leading to an end of this nation's ongoing public health crisis. I also want to recognize Dean Schrum, also President of the Center for Health Sciences, for her leadership in this effort. I don't think we'd be here today but for her efforts. And so I would like to say once again how much we appreciate the confidence that you're showing in the Center of Wellness and Recovery. And now I ask President Schrum to come forward. Casey?
Well, thank you. The mission of the Oklahoma State Center, or Oklahoma State University Center for Wellness and Recovery, is to save lives and to rescue those who are struggling from addiction. This endowment will allow us to assist communities in Oklahoma and across the nation ravaged by the opioid epidemic with innovative approaches to address the health crisis. We will now have the resources to create a place where people can come together to engage in meaningful initiatives to prevent, treat, and eradicate this horrible disease. To that end, I also appreciate Attorney General Hunter. We are making this historic announcement today because of his relentless commitment to stopping opioid abuse and addiction, and to the legal team who has supported him. Thank you.
Thank you both. Although we celebrate this monumental victory today, we have a long road ahead. Our trial against Johnson & Johnson, Teva, and other manufacturers who we believe are responsible for creating this public health crisis is still on the horizon. And I want to briefly recognize everyone who is here working on behalf of the state of Oklahoma in this case. This team has worked countless hours, missed family occasions, and has sacrificed so much for this case. And it is easy to say that we wouldn't be here today without them. So with us we have Judge Mike Burridge, his law partner Reggie Witten, Brad Beckworth, Glenn Coffey, and your team. Please stand and we'll give you a quick round of applause. And from the Attorney General's office, you know, it's important in leadership to surround yourself with people who are smarter and more talented than you are. Case study, Abby Dilsaver, General Counsel in our office, and First Assistant Don Cash are here, and my Public Policy Chief, Lori Carter's here also. I can't thank you all enough. So I'd like to thank everybody who's been involved in this process for your continued dedication to working on this case. We will create a better future for Oklahomans to live and raise a family addiction-free. As a reminder, today's agreement is only the first step in our ultimate goal of ending this nightmarish epidemic. In the coming weeks, this team and I will continue preparing for trial, where we intend to hold the other defendants in this case accountable for their role in creating the worst public health crisis our state and nation has ever seen.